A tense situation at several Pullman stores this week involving an unusual weapon.
And how our local airport is embarking on a major overhaul that will change how passengers fly into and out of town. And all that and more coming up on Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening. I'm Zygmunt Soroka.
And I'm Natalie Newcomb. Welcome to Murrow News 8. We're learning more today about a tense situation near Pullman Building Supply earlier this week. Joining us is our Christian Garza, who is live on the far side of town with more details, including the multiple stores that this man was at before he was arrested. Christian?
Thanks, Natalie. So yes, I am here at Pullman Building Supply, where Pullman police responded to a call relating to an intoxicated man and a machete. 22-year-old Darian Armstrong was asked to leave the premises after waving a machete in this very parking lot. Now, Pullman Police Commander Jake Opgenorth said that Armstrong wasn't really threatening anybody with this machete. He was just kind of waving it around the area, but it did lead for him to be asked to leave the premises. Now, after he left Pullman Building Supply, he actually went up to Walmart, which is just up the hill, where he tried to steal 4 bottles of wine underneath his jacket. Pullman police were called again, and Armstrong was arrested at 9 p.m. that night with charges related to burglary and theft. Now, this incident wasn't necessarily violent, but it did leave an impression on people around here. So we're glad that the situation was diffused and that everyone turned out safe in the end. Live in the field, I'm Christian Garza. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Christian. According to Pullman Radio, plans for the new terminal at the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport will be unveiled during public open house next month. The first open house will be held Wednesday, April 7th at the Round Top Public House at the WSU Golf Course. The second open house is on Thursday, April 8th at the University Inn Best Western in Moscow. Both open houses are from 5 to 7. The airport received $18 million in federal COVID-19 relief money last year, as well as the FAA allocating $21.5 million for the project. The new terminal is projected to cost between $30 to $50 million.
The Whitman County is seeking $45 million from the federal government for repurposing WSU's old steam plant. WSU wants to take the space and turn it into lab space and incubator space and commercial development. $15 million will go towards cleanup and $30 million will go towards development and construction.
The Pullman City Council approved a preliminary plat and plan for a 68-home development. The development will consist of 75 lots on 10.3 acres on Military Hill. The first phase of construction includes connecting Greyhound Way with Terraview Drive to allow more direct access.
WSU President Kirk Schultz said WSU is moving forward with a new system which will strengthen the WSU system. It's called One WSU. This system will help inconsistencies in the structure of the university. For example, it will establish a system-level budget process and help with enrollment management.
Idevent Broadcasting, a local radio station group owned by Robert and Melva Praisel, have sold their Lewiston radio stations. The three Lewiston radio stations, KMOM, KRLC, and KVTV, were sold to McVeigh Entertainment that operate Z-Rock 96.5 and KOZE. The sale is still pending a close date FCC approval. According to a press release, Idevent does intend to continue with their Moscow-based radio stations.
And grab your cowboy hats and boots because the mechanical bull riding contest is coming to Lewiston. The Lewiston Roundup Western Extravaganza Mega Night Finale is Friday from 5:30. One of the events is the Lewiston Challenge, where one must ride the bull for 30 seconds with one hand. Now take a look at this video with Laura Moore, who is the reigning mechanical bull rider world champion outside of professional bull riding. She is also the equestrian coach at WSU. The event is free to attend, but there is a $50 entry fee for the riding contest.
And how one big boat is holding up nearly a third of the world's cargo containers this week.
And a heartfelt donation from one victim of a racist attack in San Francisco is going to support the same cause. Coming up after the break.
It feels like no matter where you look, The state of the world's getting worse. Oceans full of plastic, an endless amount of waste, an impossible task ahead of fixing our beloved planet. But change can't happen if you do nothing. So here's where you should start. Reduce. Why? Because Americans produce more than 200 million tons of waste every year, and you don't want to add to that. Reuse. Why? Because reusing and repurposing cuts back on unnecessary waste, and it gives things a chance at new life. Recycle. Why? Because recycling creates jobs. It helps our community and it helps our planet. And after doing all this, what will we be left with? We'll be left with a planet that will slowly start to heal.
In international headlines, one of the world's busiest waterways is at a standstill. This is a scene playing out in the Middle East right now at the Suez Canal. One of the world's busiest shipping lanes is totally blocked, and the reason? A container ship as long as the Empire State Building has gotten itself stuck at the canal's narrowest point. A series of tugboats is working to free the massive cargo ship, but the challenge is taking time, which has kept dozens of other container ships from continuing to their ports. The ship was stuck Tuesday morning when a sandstorm with 40-mile-per winds caused low visibility, and the ship called Ever Given ran aground. The Suez Canal averages 51 cargo ships a day and is responsible for over 30% of the world's cargo ship traffic.
After a hate-filled attack in San Francisco left a 75-year-old Asian woman bloodied and bruised, nearly $1 million was raised in her support. Yesterday, she announced she'd donate the money gifted to her back toward the effort to combat racism. Zhao Zhenji, seen on video after the attack on a San Francisco street, made headlines last week after the elder returned a blow and successfully fended off her attacker. A GoFundMe for her raised nearly $1 million since then. Yesterday, her family took to social media to announce she requested all the money raised for her will instead be donated to Asian American communities' efforts to combat racist, hateful attacks targeting Asians. San Francisco police say they've increased patrols in predominantly Asian communities given the sudden rise in crimes targeting Asian Americans. And it's been another up and down week here on the Palouse. Luke Walker, our man with his eyes on the sky, has been tracking the latest and has your first look at the weather. Luke?
Thanks, Sigmund. All right. Weird day for weather, right? Earlier it was snowing, it's raining right now, and then later, I'll tell you, if you're into AC/DC or Imagine Dragons, I got the news for you because you can expect thunder for the rest of the tonight. Possibility, don't go outside and swing golf clubs or anything like that. Please be safe. But we also today we have a high of 45 degrees and a low of 34. We have in about an hour and a half sunset, great to be in that time of the year. But what's also really interesting is the weather radar for Pullman. So check this out. Over here in Pullman, we have all this green. That's all rain showers that's been happening. And you know how it was snowing earlier? Could have been a lot worse because in this upper area for Idaho, it's just snowing. All that blue, that's all snow coming down. So we kind of lucked out. And it's really interesting to see how these two areas, while they're so close together, totally different weather conditions. All right, moving into tomorrow, we got a high of 46 degrees and a low of 33, so you can expect some more rain, maybe a little bit more snow too. Winds can be about 11 miles per hour. And then going into the Washington State, we have Seattle at 48 degrees, Olympia at 50, Spokane's at 52 degrees, and then Yakima's at 54, and Tri-Cities 58 degrees. You can share. You don't have to keep that all for yourself. You can share with the state. But now going into the 5-day forecast, so tomorrow you can expect some rain and snow. Going into the weekend, we have partly cloudy conditions. Friday and Saturday, and Sunday is cloudy as well. And then Monday, what better way to start a Monday than with rain, right? But that's all I have to say about weather. Back to you at the desk.
Coming up after the break, an unlikely reunion in the Seattle sports scene might end up happening.
Plus, one referee's choice of words caught on a hot mic has him banned. That and more coming up in moments. Stay with us.
Pressure.
Expectations.
Overwhelmed.
Mental health issues are real.
Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged 15 through 24.
But it doesn't have to stay that way.
If you're going through a difficult time,
hope and help is only a phone call away.
On the playing field, it is important to lean on your teammates for help.
It is important to lean on each other off the field, too.
Life isn't always easy and can sometimes feel overwhelming.
You don't have to face it alone.
We are all on the same team when it comes to looking out for each other.
There is hope.
You matter.
We care.
Help is just a phone call away.
Welcome back. I'm Alan Lester with your sports segment. After taking Game 1 yesterday, WSU baseball lost Game 2 of the series today at University of Nevada, Las Vegas by a score of 15-8. The Cougars found themselves down early in the third inning by a score of 9-1, but was able to tighten things up at the top of the fifth by rattling off 6 straight runs. WSU will look to bounce back from their loss today against Arizona State on Friday. The Washington State men's golf team leaps back into action this week to participate in the Goodwin event at Stanford Golf Course. Play begins this Thursday, March 25th at 7 a.m. and runs through Saturday, March 27th. The last time the Cougars were on the fairway, the team collected a 12th place finish at the Bandon Dunes Championship back on March 9th. Fans can follow all the action at the Goodwin on golfstat.com. Referee Tim Peel will not work another game in the NHL after getting caught on a hot mic saying he wanted to give the Nashville Predators a penalty in their win over the Detroit Red Wings on Tuesday night. The incident occurred in the second period of the Predators' 2-0 win and the NHL announced after the game that it would investigate Peel's comments. Peel had been an NHL on-ice official since October 1999 and refereed over 1,300 games. The Seattle Seahawks have been busy this offseason, signing former San Francisco 49er players to their roster with Kerry Hyder Jr. and Akella Witherspoon. Now there's a possibility of Seattle taking another San Fran player, cornerback Richard Sherman. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero said on Good Morning Football Wednesday that both sides are open to a reunion and will discuss things further. Seattle fans are no stranger to Sherman, as the 32-year-old defensive back was a pivotal player for the Seahawks from 2011 to 2017 while helping establish the Legion of Boom. Could your trips around the inland Northwest get a lot speedier?
One proposal to turn transportation upside down throughout the Pacific Northwest. We'll take a look after the break.
Washington State University, an institute of...
Wait, let me show you WSU. We're about being hands-on and getting our hands dirty. We bring art to science and science to wine. We build Mars rovers and launch new medical schools, with the occasional pizza break. Now back to work, because we're always moving forward and leaving our mark on the world. Now that's my WSU.
Interesting movement has been made in the calls for high-speed rail in the Northwest. State leaders have been briefed on plans for a network of trains that would connect several major cities. The proposed rail system network would connect Vancouver to Seattle and Seattle to Portland by rail in less than 90 minutes. Proponents say adding high-speed rail, which is currently non-existent in the United States, would create a boom in economic activity throughout the Pacific Northwest. One state legislator tweeting this week after a briefing that she is fascinated by the proposal and hopes efforts will continue.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night. And if you have missed any of our previous newscasts, make sure to check it out on our YouTube channel.
More news can be found at nwpb.org/mn8, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night.